Hello, collective. Happy Friday. What's good with everybody? I'm coming through to do a collective reading and see what the hell been going on. I haven't been on here in a couple of weeks. Just had to take a little break. I was supposed to come do this reading last week, but I needed some rest. I needed a little break. What makes them think that I have changed? Maybe some of y'all have changed. It's not about changing, it's about evolving, it's about growing. And yeah, you do change. Some people not meant to go. After you do your work and you evolve. Yeah, everybody's not meant to go. Just trying to be you, doing what you gotta do. And people think you sitting on top of the world. Sitting on top of the world. Oh. Sitting on top of the world. It's Friday, let's get it. She said, everything ain't a fairy tale. I wish you could know the truth. She got the same problems that gotta be dealt with, so don't get it twisted. Okay, Brandy. Oh. Afraid to express myself. Oh, it's me and someone else. Yeah, that's why I was gonna come on here last week about the Wanye and Brandy debacle, but I'm here today with it. I'm just trying to be me, doing what I gotta do. Some people think that I'm just sitting on top of the world. All right, I'm gonna go on and pause this. Don't understand why. Whew. She said she still do the same things. Just because she's singing now and you see her on TV, she still do the same things. That's giving me genuine. Same OG. Even though I got my own CD, I'm still the same OG. You got that shit right. Hold on. All right, yeah, so I don't know who this is for in a collective, but I don't know, just with the songs I'm getting, Same OG by Genuine and Sitting on Top of the World by Brandy, I'm just getting that, we're evolving, we're healing, and we're growing. We may not hang with the same people we used to hang with. We may not do the same things that we used to do. That's part of healing. That's part of growing. And, sometimes people may feel some type of way about that. Look, you got the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. This is about family disputes. So maybe there's some type of family dispute going on where, they feel some type of way where, you don't chill with the family like you used to, or people that you consider family or considered you family, they think that you've changed and that, you don't hang with them the way you used to. You don't do the same things you used to do with them. Yeah, there's definitely some type of family situation going on here. I feel like you may be missing, your family and friends as well. You're probably looking at pictures, remembering the past, remembering the good times. Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, Brandy said, I still do the same things, even though, I'm singing, I got a CD, you see me on TV, I still do the same things. She said, please don't get it twisted. I still got problems that have to be dealt with. Yeah. Genuine. He said, even though I got my own CD, I'm the same OG. I love that song. Because, yeah, I am the same OG. I still got the same number from 18 plus years ago. My address may have changed, but my address has been the same for the last few years. So, yeah, I'm still the same OG, I'm just trying to do the work. I'm just trying to heal. I'm just trying to grow. I'm just trying to evolve, baby. Yes. All right, let me go on and get this thing started. Let me first of all say, collective, that I cuss. I cuss like a sailor. So if cursing is something that offends you, if cursing is something you just prefer not to entertain, this will not be the channel for you. I ask that you return to Tarot Universe to find a tarot reader that is more suited to your liking. I just want to make sure you're getting your reading how you want to receive it. Yeah, because like I said, I cuss. I'm still gonna fucking do it. I'm passionate about my shit, and it may just come out in a vulgar way. Vulgar way. So yes, please return to Tarot Universe if cussing offends you. As always, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I am not offended. If it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. I'm talking to the collective. I'm talking to all the signs today. So everything may not resonate with you. I just encourage you to take what resonates and leave the rest for who it's for. Again, everything may not be for you. So again, just take what resonates with you and leave the rest for who it's for. Let me also say that the messy shit will come out. It's never to offend you. It's never to belittle you. We have to be able to take a look at our mess in order to heal, in order to grow, in order to evolve. We have to do the work. We have to do the inner work within ourselves. Yes. And it's not an easy process. It's a messy process. Sometimes, we like to sweep shit under the rug, and not face it. Yeah. But you have to face it. You have to face it in order to heal and grow and evolve. If you don't, you stay stuck, you stay unhealed, unevolved, repeat patterns, repeat mistakes, wondering why shit ain't working out the way you want it to work out. It's because you got to do the inner work. You got to do the inner work. Hold on. So yeah, you have to be willing to, do the inner work in order to heal and grow. Yes. I get messages through music. I get messages through movies. I get messages through shit going on in the world or with other people in the world. So if I'm ever playing if I'm ever playing a song or trying to sing a song, go on and listen to it. It's not for nothing. It's definitely for something. Spirit is trying to convey some type of message to you through that song. Even the movie, if you ever have time, go on and watch the movie. Spirit is trying to convey some type of message to you through that movie. Let me say thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I got a little sidetracked here. But thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you for watching. Please subscribe. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Please like, please comment, please share. It will help to get the messages out to other folks that may want to hear a healing message. Yes. So yeah, I was saying, we have to be open to healing. Sometimes we don't want to open those old wounds. But sometimes it's necessary in order to heal. In order to release it so that you can heal, you have to open up those old wounds. Which leads me to Brandy and Wanya. So Brandy wrote a book. I'm so happy that she wrote the book. I'm pretty sure it was very healing for her to release the things that she revealed in that book. Do you know how long she's probably been holding on to that shit? And to release it is so healing, baby. It's so healing. I'm crying. I'm almost in tears because I'm happy that she wrote the book. I'm happy that she got her thoughts and feelings out. But one of the things that came out last week was the relationship between her and Wanya Morris from Boys to Men. And one thing she said was, I need the world to know that I was a child and he was an adult. So she was about 15, 16. He was about 22. So yeah, she was a teenager. He was an adult. You're considered an adult when you're 21. But mentally, he was still a child himself. And, you know, Instagram, you know, internet going crazy. Oh, he's a pedophile. He's a this and he's a that. But we knew about this back in the day. Why wasn't this talked about back in the day? Back in the day, it was okay. Nobody said a damn thing. But now, today, he's a pedophile. And one, I wouldn't necessarily call him a pedophile. Was he wrong? Yes. Was Brandy wrong? Yes. And that's the only thing that I'm getting from this. Brandy taking accountability. That's all she's doing is taking accountability. She knew it was wrong. And one thing she said that stood out to me, she said the shame stops here. Key word, shame. The shame that she has carried, not only with her relationship with Wanye, but, you know, I feel like she's carried a lot of shame with having a child out of wedlock because she lied to the world and said that she was married to the father. They were never really married. But that was a shame that she carried because she had a child out of wedlock. She was ashamed because she had this relationship with this older man and she knew that she was too young. But she's taking accountability for it. Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what healing is all about. Doing the inner work, taking accountability. Yes. Which leads me to a story I'm going to share. I never shared this. I had to be about 8 years old. And I had this friend in the neighborhood that I would play with, hang out with. And she had this older brother. He had to be maybe 13, 14. Yeah. But mind you, I'm 8. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's about a 5-6 year difference. I'm still in elementary. This boy is in Livingston middle school. Maybe high school, but I think it was middle school. But I had a crush on her brother. I love going to her house because I had this crush on her brother. Boy, oh boy. I was like that little annoying friend that your sister had, you know, that would always bother her brother. I would always go in his room and bother him and blah, 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 blah. He would always kick me out. But baby, this one day, he closed the door and things went way too far, especially for an 8-year-old girl such as myself. Yeah. Was I asking for it? Probably because, you know, like I said, I was the annoying little sister's friend that would always, you know, bother him, go in his room and bother him and blah, 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 blah. Was he wrong? Absolutely. He was old enough to know better than to do the things that happened in the room that day. But, you know, I didn't tell my mother, but I think she kind of had an idea. She definitely had an idea. I think she might have said something because I wasn't allowed to go, you know, no further than their living room when, you know, I went to their house after that. So, and then shortly after that, we had got into a terrible accident and I ended up having to go live with my grandparents anyway. So, I mean, it was a learning experience. It was definitely a learning experience, but definitely not the way you think about, you know, losing your virginity at 8, 9 years old to, you know, a teenage boy. Yeah. But, you know, I take accountability for the part that I played. I'm not blaming anyone, but yeah. Did he know better? I definitely think so. I should have known better as well. But yeah, that's the only thing I'm getting from the Brandy situation. She knew better. He knew better. But hey, I'm taking accountability for this. You know? That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Do I think Wanye is a pedophile, a molester? No, I don't. Do I think the situation that happened to me, do I think he was a molester or a pedophile? No, he was a child himself. No, he was a child himself. I don't blame anybody, but yeah, it definitely went too far. It definitely went too far. Yes. So with that being said, I'm gonna say, keep an eye on your kids. Know who your kids are around. I mean, I even saw one topic on Instagram where, back in the day when we're in high school and older guys were picking the girls up from school. Hell yeah. I've witnessed that myself. And them saying that the parents were okay with it. I don't think the parents were okay with it. I don't think the parents knew about it. Like Brandy said, she was sneaking around, lying to her parents. Her parents didn't know. Yeah. But yeah, you definitely want to keep an eye on your girls, your boys too. It happens to boys as well. I'm not gonna leave the boys out. You would just want to keep an eye on your kids, know who they're around, and don't be afraid to have conversations with them. Don't be afraid to have conversations with them about older men, good touch, bad touch, all that type of shit. You gotta have open, honest, real conversations. Because I remember, yeah, my mother, she never really talked to me about shit like that. And I'm pretty sure her mother might have never talked to her about shit like that. Yeah. So I chose to break the curse. I talk to my son about everything. Everything that I feel like I need to talk to him about, I talk to him about it. Because I don't want him not knowing. So yeah, that was what I was gonna come on here and talk about last week about the whole Brandy shit, and not to mention Brandy's father is a pastor. That's a whole nother topic. But could you imagine growing up with a father that's a pastor, and then you making all these decisions that cause so much shame, that cause you to feel so much shame? Now, I'll admit, I have never really been a Brandy fan. I mean, I like her music and everything, but I never really said, oh, I gotta go get that Brandy album. And, she never really, hit me like that. But once she came out with this book and this whole topic came out, I said, I get it. I totally get it now. She was raised by a pastor who they live by all, when you're in these religions, they would expect you to live a certain way, not have children out of wedlock, not have sex before marriage. There's just so many demands put upon you, when you're in these religions. And having a father that's a pastor, that's heavy work. That's heavy work. And that made me realize the amount of shame that she's probably been sitting in. The relationship with Wanye, having the child out of wedlock, lying to the world, saying that she was married, and they never were. I think there was an incident where she had an accident and somebody died. Do you imagine the amount of shame that caused? So it clicked with me for Brandy. Whereas back in the day, I'm like, all right, it's just Brandy, whatever. She's just Brandy. But now it's clicking for me. I understand, the shit that she goes through. Yeah, and it's some pretty heavy stuff. But I'm so happy for her that she wrote this book, to speak and release, the shame, the guilt, and everything. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was definitely a healing experience, to release that and get that shit off your heart. Yes. So I'm gonna say maybe Collective have a journal where you can write and get things out, or maybe even write your own book about your life, get it out. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go on and get into this.